your intro.
It was awesome. Okay, so anyways, we're here. It's Spillin' the High Tea, another podcast. Season 2, episode 2, right?
No, episode 1.
No, season 2, episode 1 was with motherfuckers Sativa.
Right.
I watched it, so I know that this is not the first episode. It's been a while, right?
God. Okay.
Even he's
well,
cut
can we cheers? Like,
let's cheers.
Cheers.
Three times. I thought if we didn't do it this time,
yes. So for anybody who's watching,
we were being written out of your will. So.
We've been trying to have this podcast with Eitan for a long time. So this is our very special guest, Eitan. He's the rep of Quest. He's also our dear friend and family member.
Thank you. I was hoping you would start with the friend thing, but that's okay. That's just
it means more to end. I end with the better thing.
Save the best for last.
So there.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you for finally coming back and being on with us.
Pleasure.
Because
I was.
It's a long time coming.
I'm wondering where the cinnamon buns are. Just kidding.
I know. Every time he's brought some sort of pastry, but like every time we keep screwing him over. So
but
like
this
less and less pastry.
It was a long week, and I thought I was like, ooh, should I build in like a baking party before this? And I was like, I want to. I can't do it. I didn't have time.
Diamonds are better.
You could have bought me cronut.
I should have bought you a cronut next time.
Don't you think
I better get a cronut for my birthday.
Yeah, you'll get a cronut. You'll get a dozen
diamonds
cronuts.
are a girl's best friend, so yes.
So those are diamond infused. They're strong. They're very strong.
I'm excited.
THCA diamond infused.
I love that.
I don't want to. Oh, there's 3 in each of them?
There's 3 half-gram joints in each one.
Okay, so
That's
for anybody
awesome.
that
So you could try both. It's not
100%.
Okay.
Open them up.
So for anybody that doesn't know what diamonds are, how would you describe what diamonds are?
Diamonds are, just to keep it simple, it's like purified THC. It's THCA diamonds. It's a precursor to THC. It's non-decarboxylated THC.
Right.
I love it. To keep it simple.
Let me
science
dive
lingo.
into this.
Wait, you mean it's not decarbed?
No. You have to. You
Not
gotta
until
spark
you do
it and smoke it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's infused with the diamonds. Diamonds, by nature, are mostly free of terpenes. It's basically straight THCA, and it's particularly potent.
Excellent.
A lot of people.
How much did you say this was?
That's about 39% THC.
Holy shit.
So yeah, I find them particularly intoxicating.
Yes.
So I will be gentle with those, but I'll let you just.
Sure. We'll go to
fucking
town.
in.
You smoke on your vape. What are you smoking?
I have a general admission cart in here.
Absolutely.
Kootenai fruit is this one.
Kootenai fruit.
Kootenai
Love
fruit
that.
is my favorite of all
I don't know if
them.
that's been online the last.
It's around and it's so good.
Because that's our main list, and I know we have the.
I also have the
Chem
guava
Dog,
chem dog,
and
just
we
in
have
case.
the rainbow sherbet.
And you
in
got the rainbow
stock,
sherbet,
but I don't remember seeing the kootenai fruit
So the
for a
kootenai
while.
fruit and the guava chem dog are both live resin. The other ones are distillate.
Is it the rainbow sherbet not a live resin?
The rainbow sherb is a distillate as well.
Distillate. Okay.
Yeah. So nothing but love to distillate.
Yeah,
But it's distilled
want-
THC with botanical terpenes. It's got a place. It's cheaper, less expensive. But this live resin is the real deal. This is
nothing
like
that. So anyone
strain
who's
specific and all that good
a
stuff.
vapor, if you've been trying to distill it, treat yourself to a live resin vape next time and see how that.
They're different.
compares.
Like they're very different.
It's a different world. I find a nice way to equate them, especially for people that are most familiar with alcohol. Distillate, it's a shot of cheap tequila, right? It's a shot of something cheap to like get you going. It hits you fast. You feel it in the head. Blah blah blah.
Like
this is
rubbing
like this,
alcohol or something.
Yeah, effectively, right?
Right.
And then this is like something a bit nicer. Right. This might be your nice fancy wine that you sip and you savor and you enjoy. And you talk about the flavors.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Like a
I
really
use that kind of
expensive
example.
cognac.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I use that kind of example for anyone who's like, well, why can I get the same thing, but it's all different prices? And it's like, well, you go to a liquor store and there's 10 different vodkas, and some of them are going to be, your cheap ones that
Different
you just want to get drunk,
qualities.
different qualities. Maybe you want one for your birthday because it's been 10 years distilled. You don't know.
Exactly.
All that good stuff. Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for, I'll say it out loud, I'm a little bit of a sucker for like the story. So if you're like, oh yeah, this liquor was like run through a machine and we don't really know where it came from and all that, or this cannabis was run through a machine, we don't know, but this one was like hand tended, and this is where we sourced the genetics, and these are the people who grew it and how they trimmed it.
Tenderly touched.
I love the story. I'm a sucker for the story.
I mean, they're always
sounds
better
great.
at the story, so.
Strawberry cough, is that sativa?
It is.
Okay.
I can't believe you still have some
I
strawberry
still
cough.
have
That
some
is, like,
strawberry cough.
amazing.
And banana
That was my
original
favorite
grown.
for so
Wow.
These are my
long.
fave. That banana OG is quite nice as well.
I've not had this. I've had the strawberry cough, and I'm glad that it's
Banana
nice to have
OG
an
is
option
really,
where
really
that's a little
strong
bit
too.
weaker.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just not the sharpest tool in the shed, and I meant to order a whole bunch of different things for today, but then I tried to order it yesterday, and
it doesn't
And
come
I'm like,
in a
oh, it
day."
doesn't come till the next week.
That's
Stoner
hard for you, right?
moment.
You have to plan like well ahead, right? You have a deadline, and then like 3-4
Yeah.
days later, your product arrives.
It's definitely a delicate little balance.
Completely.
I'm pretty
This is
damn
really
good
nice,
at it, though.
just when you open this up, the jar.
Mhm.
I like the shape of the jar, tall and
Love
a bit
that jar.
thinner.
Yeah.
And it presents
Looks really
really nice.
sound.
The weed looks really nice
Oh my
inside
God.
that jar.
Whoa.
Like really nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, the bag appeal is nice. If you
Can I
think,
show the camera? Should I show?
Yeah, I think
think
it
bananas
looks
as you're
really pretty.
inhaling, it's kind of like underripe banana, not like yellow banana, almost like the green tinged banana.
But show inside.
I'm a
too.
big fan.
When you look inside,
I'm
it's
just
really
wondering
nice.
if that's gonna work.
And the
Out
jar
and
just
try.
feels so nice in your hand.
It
I love
does.
the jar.
It feels very luxurious,
Yeah.
and even the color.
The color, right? It's appealing.
Pretty color.
It's like that
Yeah.
mint green
Mint
color.
green, yes, sage green, mint green, something, whatever you call it.
It's the kind of jar you can like reuse for something
should.
else.
Yeah.
Make it make a candle out of it.
Good
Melt
enough,
some
right?
wax into it.
Yes.
Keep your
How are you
keep your herbs.
with stuffing cones? Not good.
That's okay. We got.
I can roll.
I
ones.
definitely want to try this strawberry cough for sure because it's
Yeah,
been
let's
so,
try that.
so
Let's
long.
start this up.
Also because I'm
Is that
getting
strawberry
super
cough?
big
Okay,
off
let's
of
do
the diamond infused one, and I want to still
And
be
we've
coherent.
all had our bonuses.
You've all had your
Our
bonuses?
our boosters.
We've been boosted.
So, yes,
You're welcome.
like
We're
I'm
all
thinking
safe.
of the date, but I don't care about sharing a joint with you. I'm willing to take that.
I feel comfortable
So,
with it
yeah.
too.
This is family.
I've been
here.
bonused.
You've
This
been
is family
bonus.
here. We've been bonus.
We've all been bonus.
Oh
been
dear.
Boosted up.
Yes.
When did you actually start using cannabis originally?
Start using consistently, or like the first time I ever
First
tried.
time you
First
ever
time
tried it?
ever.
First time I ever tried it was actually out in Whistler. I'm from Ontario. I
Okay.
moved here about 5 years ago. But I used to come to
Wait.
Whistler. What?
So wait, no, it was longer than 5 years ago that you tried.
Oh, I moved out here for. Okay,
Okay,
I'm going back and forth.
I'm
So I
like,
moved out
what?
here about 5 years ago, but my family had been coming to Whistler every year,
Yeah.
every other year for a number of years before that, since I was a kid. So underground parking garage, my oldest brother and his friend, you know, hiding in the corner. I remember being like nervous and hiding in the corner. And anytime a car came, we were like pretend like we weren't doing anything. And then I remember
So
tasting it and being
funny.
like, "This is weird," and I don't feel
weird.
anything. And that
How
was
old
that was
were
my
you?
like 14.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's around.
I was a young.
Don't feel bad.
I have two older brothers. My middle older brother passed away a year ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Then we just had his yard site, which is the in the Jewish tradition, Jewish religion. It's the year anniversary after the passing of someone.
Oh, and so do you do some kind of a ceremony for that?
Yeah, the night before we lit the candle, like it's a yard site candle that burns for over 24 hours. So you light it the night before and it burns throughout the day. And it's a reminder. You look at it and
Yeah.
think of the person and the warmth and all that.
Yeah.
He was actually a big cannabis consumer and got me, you know, consuming it more regularly and
Yeah.
got me into the culture. And he was a big influence for that as well.
And is that kind of ceremony because he was younger? Like, would somebody that was older have the same kind of?
It's the anniversary every 12 months. It's kind of a beautiful thing that you actually
Yeah.
signal that anniversary of the person's passing. We
not
do it
know
for my
that.
uncle who died when he was, you know, in his 60s or 70s, and we still do it. And that was 20 years ago that he passed away, and we still light it every year.
Oh my goodness!
That's
like my
so
sister is
awesome.
Jewish and married to a rabbi, And
Oh yeah, you mentioned that to me before.
I
right.
didn't, and that she's never mentioned that, so I'm going to ask her. I
Yeah.
Zoom with her and my mom every Wednesday
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
so I'm going to ask her about that.
It's a lovely tradition. It's definitely, it's hard, of course, as per, grief and remembering loss
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
But it's important.
But it's a lovely tradition, and I've started doing it I lit it on January 17th for my husky who passed away 6 years ago now.
Oh, baby.
I lit it in the summertime for my cat who passed away the year before.
Yeah.
It's a regular thing to honor and to remember and to, yeah.
And it does it kind of bring in some stoicism as well, as where you kind of appreciate life because you realize how fragile
Completely,
it is.
completely.
Yeah.
Shit, we're going down that hole, but I'm regularly aware of how fucking fragile
Yeah.
life is.
It's
It's
important.
actually like I'll be straight up. It's a scary thing for me. I'm
Yeah.
terrified of like losing the people that I love and all that. It's
That's
scary,
fair.
right?
You would be because you're so
Yeah.
loving and caring. So I mean,
Thanks, Linley.
it's fair. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of weird. Like when I walk down the stairs at home, every time I'm like, oh shit, I could die. I think about stuff like that.
completely.
all
completely.
The time. It's a little.
Isn't it? It's
a
weird,
little
right?
much,
Like
yeah.
it's
like-
I feel like death is such a natural and regular part of life, but it still just punches you in the face and
Yes,
you know what
it
I mean,
does.
comes out of nowhere and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
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 How
So-
old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no worries. I'm 36 now.
36.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like the whole I do remember being younger and being like terrified of dying, and now that I'm kissing 60, like it'll be my 60th. That's
You don't look a
coming
day
up.
over 50, by the
Well,
way.
thank you very
course.
much. I do
Day over
find
50.
that
She said a day over 40.
That's what I meant, but you said 60, so 10 years
yeah,
earlier.
he
so
didn't
like,
want to seem, insincere because
like
he's so
a day
far
over
back.
25, Amy.
I mean, I don't think
some
you
people
look
may only be listening to this, right?
fair. Anyways,
But anyway, you might find that as you get. So, do you think that you're afraid of dying? Is that part of it? or-
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think I am, but more if it's like coming and I know it's coming. I'm not as afraid of like the sudden, I suppose, but I think I'm more afraid of other people that I care about and that
just
I
like
depend
running out of
on.
time with them,
Yes.
kind of.
Or yeah,
100%.
it's kind of like catastrophizing. Like when I think about
For sure.
my granddaughter,
Yep.
it's just like I'm not going to think about that right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do find that as you get older, I think
Like
it's
it's
just
easier.
kind of your DNA, kind of like, the whole sequencing. It's like as you get older, you're more exposed to death, and so you're less afraid of it. But I also downloaded the app We Croak.
We croak.
We croak.
Okay.
And
All right.
so up to so many 3-5 times a day, however you set it, it'll come up with some stoic saying,
Like a quote
or
for you kind of thing.
poem,
Yeah, okay.
like from Mark Twain
Huh.
or Emily Dickinson, something about death.
Yeah.
And like you realize that I think it was Mark Twain. One that really stood out for me was, I was dead for 1 billion years before I was alive.
Jeez.
And I will be dead for 1 billion
Yeah.
years after.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't hurt us by not being alive, and it will be the same. When
But
we're
is that,
gone.
I'm going to throw it out there, is that a lovely thought? Sometimes that's another point of like, not anxiety, but a weird thing that like, we're here for such a small blip.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, I want to know. I want to know what happens in 100 years and 200 years. And
Yes,
I always
I
thought
know.
I would love to be frozen, like 30 minutes before I die, and then unfrozen,
And then
like
unfrozen.
20 minutes before the world
What's
ends.
that movie that you just
Really?
watched?
Yeah,
Totally. 'Cause
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Yes.
Because then I can, I'll already be like on my death. I'll already be like, I'll have 20 minutes left. I'll have 30 minutes left. But I get to see how the world ends. I'm so curious. Like,
That
what?
is
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Am I weird?
No, I like it
That
though.
might be
I don't know.
one of the
I
weirdest
believe in.
things I've ever fucking heard.
I love it.
But it's
I-
so intriguing. Like I've never thought of that.
I want someone to
God.
unfreeze me
And
and be
I-
like, oh shit,
I
this
wanna
is
know
how
what
it's
happens
happening.
too.
And like end of the world movies are like one of my favorite
love it.
genres.
I love
like
it.
I love that
Yeah.
shit.
Very,
Yeah.
very fascinating.
Yeah.
I believe in reincarnation, so I believe that I'm not going to remember this life, but then I'll come back as someone else.
Yeah, so it's like, what's the point of really believing that in reincarnation if you know that you're not, if you don't remember, does it really happen?
Because your soul grow. Well, that's not necessarily true. There's tons of children who have remembered their past lives and have found their
So you believe
murdered
in God?
bodies. No, I believe in the universe and energy.
Okay, do you believe in God?
I don't think so. Not in the way, not in like, it's a weird one. No, I'm pretty sure I don't believe in God at all.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty firm like science believer, and it just doesn't totally have a place in that belief for me.
Right.
I know a lot of
Which is an
people that believe in
interesting thing to
evolution.
say
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Einstein and I believe what the hell's the guy that just died in the genius in the chair?
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. I believe we both believed in God.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
that is interesting.
It's so interesting.
I guess to me, the universe is God, and I believe in aliens.
Universe is too big for
But I
not to
believe
be,
that you
like,
can
life
have
form elsewhere.
science and some
Pretty
sort
fucking
of
big.
It's
divine-
unfathomably big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even, we can't comprehend how big it is. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's not even how big it is. It's like it's expanding consistently. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't make any sense. Like, but do you like the Hubble and like, don't you love like
It's so
seeing
cool.
those?
I love space.
Yeah.
Although space is so cool.
Although I do not want to go to space.
No.
I am terrified to go to space.
Don't you want to float?
No.
I wanna know what
I'm just like
weightlessness feels
I'm gonna like fucking like you remember in The Martian when he's going outside and he almost in the comic relief was like
Oh,
he
spoiler
almost-
alert! Holy crap! I'm just kidding.
It's an old movie. And
It's like,
Matt
this is my
Damon like
fault.
almost walks out without putting on his helmet.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you
And
would
so, like,
you would
that's what I
definitely
do.
you would
Like, I
definitely do
would
that.
do that.
You would just
I
be
would
like,
just, like-
get like
But anyways,
an edible and just roll
I want
out
to
without
circle
your
back to what I
helmet.
was saying before you guys were so rudely interrupted me, as everybody watching will notice.
Apologies, Queen Linley.
I think there's, yeah, absolutely. I'm Queen of Cannabis. That's right. I believe there's the possibility of having science and still having like a divine, ultimate energy
I think that
or
what
universe
we're going to find out
that
in the
is-
end is that science is God.
Like,
That's
that's kind of what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I mean,
yeah,
like, you know,
that the
physics,
beauty in the universe
math.
is
These
God.
are discoveries
Kind
that
of
are
thing.
divine.
Yeah.
The
in
fact
my
that it all
opinion.
came together and is like continuously evolving, it's
I'm, like,
you're right. It's like
programming,
there's a
sorry.
very godly thing about it.
Yeah, like I don't think there's like some man sitting up there dictating what we do, but like the amazingness of the universe is, you know, incredible, and we can't possibly fathom it all. So that to me is God, if that makes sense, you know.
I know what you mean.
I do know
And
what
there's
you mean.
fucking aliens out there.
100%.
Also, fun fact: I'm 1% Jewish.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
It started at 6%. It started at 6%. I told you that
Oh,
already.
right. It started at
But
6%.
now I'm only
It's
1%.
gone downhill.
Yeah.
But,
My people.
Yeah. I'm one of
but
them.
I got to tell you an interesting story that I literally just found out on Wednesday
Please.
when I had my Zoom with my mom and my sister. That my father's mother came from England. Her parents came from England. She was born in Canada, so she was like first generation, I guess that's called.
Cool.
But her parents never told her that they were 100% Jewish. And but they weren't practicing, or what, I don't, like, I'm speculating, but because of anti-Semitism they didn't tell anyone.
A lot of people even converted and left it behind because there's a lot of persecution.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, my grandfather, like my grandmother's husband, was in World War II. So yeah, so it seems, I guess there was always anti-Semitism, like that's where it starts in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, because of that, my grandmother didn't know that she was Jewish. And
How
which
interesting.
means, so she was 100% Jewish, which means her children are 100% Jewish because it goes through the mother.
Yeah, through the.
But my father, her relation to me is through my father, and the line doesn't go through men. So, we're not, like, my sister had to convert to Judaism, and nothing would have changed about that. But does that mean that my aunt's children are 100% Jewish?
So it's such an interesting question. You're right. It goes through the mother's bloodline, that kind of thing. But like at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of like in here. It's what you believe in. And,
I just
and
mean
how,
like, okay, if I want to go and be a practicing Jew,
Mm-hmm.
what do I have to convert? And yeah, I do.
I mean, you could practice without converting.
Well, I mean,
Next time I come back, I'll come on a Friday night. I'll bring the Shabbat candles. We can practice. We can practice
my
together.
sister might be a little pissed because it took her 2 years.
Oh, fair enough, right.
So I don't want.
Why would you hang with me for Shabbat? You got to hang with her for Shabbat.
I would hang with you for Shabbat, but
More Shabbat, the better.
Yeah. I like Shabbat. I cannot lie.
I mean, on Shabbat, is that when you bring out the diamonds? That's when you.
That's when you
really
bring.
go,
Yeah, it's a
right?
special
Something
occasion.
special.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, I was thinking real diamonds for a second. I was like, what? You guys have a ceremony with diamonds? Like, I don't know. I have no idea.
It's called
That is-
a wedding.
But that is right because, like that's why if it was really my mom that was Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my sister would have had to convert.
I guess technically not. Yeah. Yeah. She felt the need to
That
convert for
is
her own.
fascinating.
We
Like
found out.
identity,
I
I think.
found out last Wednesday about this. This is a very new
Mm-hmm.
discovery in the family. Somebody doing something or other.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's exciting. How does that? Are you both? Was that like a cool thing to learn for you? Is that?
I think it's
It's
fascinating.
totally
It's
cool.
fascinating.
Like, what's your nickname now?
Oh
I'm
my
not.
God.
Don't even say it because then we'll have to bleep it out.
Oh no.
I'll
Is
tell
it something with like
you.
a ch in it?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, sure. Off camera.
Off camera, sorry
off mic.
everybody. We don't want to get canceled.
No.
Understood. I
Anyways,
respect.
well, let's circle back into some cannabis a little
Okay, let's
bit.
do
So
that.
yes,
Probably.
I smoked for the first time with my oldest brother in a party garage in Whistler.
And it was super sketchy
Yeah.
and amazing. So how did you get involved in the actual industry?
Ooh, the industry. It's a long story as well, but we're gonna interrupt it and
It's
kind of go
okay,
down
yeah.
tangents
You
and
just
we'll come back.
get going.
I
us
guess
know.
you
I
Gave
wanna
me
know.
diamonds, so I am really not responsible for anything.
For anything that
I
happens
do.
or anything you
Hopefully
say.
she won't respond at all.
So the
I'm just joking.
Hopefully.
I like your banter. Your relationship is so fun to me.
It's
You
pretty
guys
great.
clearly love each other
Yeah.
and you like
Oh my
We
God.
do.
knock each
Honestly,
other down a
yes,
peg and the
um,
whole thing.
We're a little
It truly
sassy.
is
Yeah.
the relationship that I would have always wanted with a daughter. Like, so it's, yeah.
What about the relationship you've always wanted with the dollar?
I said dollar.
You did say dollar
Oh
first.
my god, that's
and
like
then
a
dollar.
fucking bad joke.
You were very
Anyways,
funny.
Let me get into this. I guess it starts with how I guess I started consuming more regularly. So my foray into cannabis was mostly medical. I'm okay. I think
Okay.
I'm happy. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I had a really bad eye injury when I was 14.
Okay.
We'll breeze over this. I don't want to go into all the details,
It's
but
okay.
You can still see.
I got shot in the right eye with a pellet gun
Oh, fuck.
and ended up like my vision was totally destroyed.
Oh, you can't tell.
Right now I have 20/400 vision, so I can see like the big E on the chart out of this eye, but I can't really see any other letters or anything like that.
Okay, easy.
The what happened thereafter is I was effectively bedridden for the summer while my like implanted lens healed and the whole thing, and I developed
God.
this really bad pressure and really bad migraines. So my middle older brother Carmi, who passed, he gave me a bag of weed when he was going away for a few weeks for the summer, and he gave me a bag of weed, and I remember finally having this like relief from the migraines because I could tell that they were coming. It started as
Yeah.
like, this weird aura, this weird discomfort, and then within 30 minutes, every single time, it was just a mind-splitting, terrible migraine.
Just awful.
But when I finally like literally a toke when I felt the aura coming in, and it would just dissipate it, and I wouldn't get the migraines, and that
Magic.
was my first like realization of
someone
what
could
cannabis
actually
could
help
really do
you.
for me, and what it could help.
so
So,
beautiful.
you know, for the next few years, of course, I used for that reason. I got into it, of course, more recreationally as well. It's, you know, wild that it can be like a medicine and also
Yeah,
fun.
it's
Yeah.
It's kinda cool. It's, like,
incredible.
magical.
I love
Well, I
this
mean, you
plant.
could
Every
say
day
the
you're like,
same
yeah.
of morphine or
Yeah.
something like that. That's fun.
True, but at least
And
this
it's a
is
medicine.
a plant.
True.
Interesting.
Oh my god, Mom.
Cool.
She does not condone
Diamonds.
the use
Do
of
not use
morphine.
morphine
No,
recreationally.
not
No,
We're
I'm
not
doing
condoning
that
the
medically.
use.
It's not that. No, I meant
I mean, hey, I had
some medicines are fun too.
Totally.
That's what I meant.
Totally. I love it.
It's true. When I had my appendicitis, I believe morphine was the drug of choice before I went into surgery. And I remember
How old were you?
it being hilarious. Around 13.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're too young to smoke.
Morphine will fuck you up.
I did smoke weed around then. For the
I
first
don't
time.
need to
It wasn't
know
like
everything.
You were,
that
like,
wasn't that was
consistent.
like the first time I tried. And then I would say, you know, it would be kind of like here and there on the weekend, like ooh. And then eventually it was every weekend. And then eventually it was after school on weekends. And then eventually it was every day. And then eventually I'd be smoking it in my room, and she would be coming in, don't smoke weed in the house, and then she'd close the door again, and then we would just be like,
Okay.
Yep, I had the fan. I remember, like, in high school having the fan pointed at my
Oh,
window.
yeah, like-
be like, good night. Wish
Like a
everybody good
toke,
night.
like
I'd go,
a-
like,
like,
take my
oh my
toke out the
God.
fan.
yeah, it was good times.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay,
How would your
so you
parents-
started,
What would they have done if they caught you?
It wasn't ideal. That whole story is a whole other story, but it's kind of interesting. I remember waking up one night. I would have been 9 or 10 years old, and my parents were screaming at my oldest brother because
Oh,
he
dear.
came home late smelling like weed. And so that was my first understanding of like what would happen in the house if you
Yeah.
consumed cannabis. That being said, my folks quickly really lightened their perspective on it. And within, I don't know the exact timeline, was it 6 months later or a year later, within a little while, my brother had like converted a storage room in the basement and was like growing cannabis. By the time I was 15,
And your
or
mom
s-
knew.
They knew for sure.
Okay.
And by the time I was 15 or 16, we got a bong and we called it the family bong.
okay.
And we kept it on the mantle.
Yes.
They didn't really consume regularly. I
Yeah.
remember like one time all of us
Oh,
smoking the
man.
family bong, but like
That's so
otherwise we didn't
basic.
really like toke together.
Yeah.
But slowly but surely my older brothers consumed a lot and here and there to detriment, and my folks didn't like it. So their relationship with it kind of ebbed and flowed.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they're proud of me and my
I
career
imagine
path
they
as of
would
now.
be,
But
yeah.
the relationship
good.
between myself, my parents, and cannabis like has evolved over
I
the years.
definitely understand that.
Yeah,
because,
I'm sure Amy, you
I
weren't
certainly-
especially excited
No.
when Linley first came home.
No. And
Ripped.
she didn't start smoking weed up until you
Like
were in your
10 years ago?
Yeah, like so the fact that this is even a thing is just absolutely crazy.
I'm checking something on my
Oh.
phone, but it's not like I'm actually checking my phone.
Wow,
I have a
rude.
blood sugar. I have
Okay.
type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
So I'm
Let's
checking
do
my
that.
blood sugar.
Yeah.
Fine.
We're good.
Acceptable.
We're good.
Okay. So you started using more medically at first, and then
Yes.
kind of recreational. So
Yes.
And then where did you get into the industry?
So, which
No.
part of the industry? Like in
well,
high
because
school?
to me you started
know it.
in Canada, but I mean I don't know what happened.
This is fun. I love this. I love telling
Like,
the story.
where did
so
you actually
I love to help my friends out in high school. I loved to be the one. I had
You're
a
a
great
pot
source.
dealer?
I don't know. I never
Had a
dealt.
great source,
I
like a
helped my
brother.
friends
I
out.
helped my
I
friends.
hooked my friends up. That's
Hey,
what
that's
it
nice
was.
of you.
Your friends knew a guy.
My friends
It
knew a
was
guy,
you.
and it was me.
You were the guy.
So that's how I first
The
got
man.
into the industry, I guess,
Yeah.
effectively. And I did that through, university as well, helping
Okay.
people out. And then finally, after university, I was working in a used video rental store.
Oh my
And I
God.
was like
Used
dealing
videos.
DVDs and movies and all those good things.
I remember
And
that.
the neighboring business was the Medical Cannabis Club of Guelph. This is in Guelph, Ontario, the MCCG. So they were operating for about 3 years,
And the
in
medical one,
public,
yeah.
medical model. Again, this is
But
12
black
years.
market.
So effectively black market.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
call it.
right.
Well,
it's the medical
technically, in
market, but-
Canada, medical cannabis came into approval in 2001. So it's
Yes.
actually been around for 21 years.
For
Yeah,
personal cultivation or cultivating for a patient and accessing it through, a medical supplier, the storefronts were always operating in a bit of a gray
silly,
area,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
The reason they're called the Compassion Club is because they were operating, compassionately out of, the framework of the law. So I was working in the used video rental store, and I heard some smashing, some glass breaking. And I looked through the window and I saw a couple of kids with hammers, and they were breaking into this dispensary, into
Oh
this
my
this
gosh.
cannabis clinic. And so I quickly locked the store. I locked the door, and I called the cops. And the kids ran off eventually. The alarm was going off, and the cops showed up along with the owner and the manager. And I had known the manager from university right away. We're like, oh, nice to see you again. It's been a while. And, you know, we got talking. And long story short, I left the video rental store. And I ended up getting a job there a few weeks later as a front level clerk. So I was answering the phone, answering the door. We kept the door locked, and people had to show their ID and their membership and all that. And I would unlock the door, and they would come in. And I was doing that, you know, scheduling and effectively like secretary for the store, for the dispensary rather. And then eventually I got promoted, and I got moved into the back room where I was actually dispensing medicine to people. So we had our patients come in one by one. And we had our like menu, and we would talk about, you know, the ailment and question the symptoms, and we would kind of go through and sell them, dispense medicine, dispense cannabis.
What they would need,
So I was doing that for a little while. Coolest job, you know, first experience into therapeutic use for other people of cannabis, until one day the place got raided. I was there. They weren't looking for me. They were looking for the owner and the manager, and they wanted to obviously close down the store. But I was the only low-level employee there, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
That being said, you know, knock on the door. I was the one to go, and I see a cop with a badge, and I was like, oh, what, 1 second? And I went and grabbed the owner, and he came out, and he's like, no, this is Sergeant Bill, whatever. We know him. We're friends. He's come in and toured the place before. It's all good. Unlocks the door. Like 12 cops pool in wearing bulletproof vests, no guns drawn or anything like that. But
that must
we
have
have
been
holy
interesting.
crap. I never thought I would experience that in my life.
My
It
God,
was
terrifying.
I've always been like
Did you shake?
100%. I've always been like,
I would've been like, holy,
respectful
peeing my pants.
and kind of scared of cops, to be honest. But I like they were always there for our best interest, and like that's how I felt. But having them all pool in and like hands on the counter, you know, it was
Treat
terrifying.
you like a
Absolutely
criminal
terrifying.
because of
Completely.
cannabis plants.
So then, they like hands behind the back. They cuffed us. I even said, I was like, I'm a pacifist. I am not a flight risk. Like I'm. Can you at least cuff me in the front? It felt very uncomfortable. He's like, policy, buddy, and they like cuffed me behind the back, and then paraded us down the street to the waiting paddy wagon, to the cop van, drove us to the station. And I was like getting ready to get let out in an hour. The guy was like, you can call your partner, call your girlfriend, tell her that you'll be out in an hour. And I was like, okay. So I called her. And I was like, I'll be out in an hour. And then they put me in a cell while they're just like doing the paperwork after like taking my shoes and all that stuff. So they put me in a cell, and then that cop eventually comes back. And he's like, I didn't realize you also had seedlings in the back. So you're also being charged for production for the purpose of trafficking, in addition to your other charges. And long story short, they were like, so with that said, you're staying overnight. You can call your girlfriend again and tell her that you're not going to be home tonight. Yeah, terrifying. The whole experience was just absolutely.
Did you have to stay longer than the night?
No, but close, dude. Oh my gosh. So that night, and I feel like we have a finite amount of time. I want to tell you all the stories of that night. Like I didn't sleep a wink, and the next morning I was front of the line at 6 a.m. They shackled my ankles.
Oh my god.
Like the whole thing. And they brought us to the courthouse, and our lawyer showed up, and apparently, so we were in the basement waiting to get brought up to the courtroom for our bail hearing. This was a Friday, and every hour or two, a cop comes down and is like, your lawyer's really arguing some weird things. He's trying to get this out. You know, I don't know what he's doing, but like, I don't know. You guys might be here for the weekend. And if we were there for the weekend, we were underneath the courthouse. So they would have taken us to the neighboring town where there was like a full-on penitentiary. It's Milton, Maplehurst is the name of the penitentiary. So that's where we would have been, like the full-on strip search, and you're in public, the whole thing. Public lockup or whatever it is. Public holding, I don't know.
I don't
public
know.
lockup, right? Like,
Yeah.
or there's a term?
Population.
Public population?
Yeah.
Holy crap. I love that you
Oh
know
my
that.
god.
Mom
Badass.
knows all the jail terms.
She knows.
All from Wentworth.
So-
All from Wentworth.
Finally, at 6 p.m., they come down, they bring us up to the court. One by one, we go in, and there's a whole the courtroom is full of like our patients and my family and the whole thing. So intense.
Yeah.
And I remember the judge is like, you have been charged, you have 5 charges. Do you want us to read your charges? And I was like, yeah, you can read them. And I remember being so like pissed. And I was like, yeah, you can read them. And she was like, sir, I will have the clerk read them, but I will remind you to mind your manners or something like
Watch
that.
your fucking
And I look
tongue.
over at my mom, and my mom is like,
Yeah, you need to stop.
like, relax. I remember just being so fucking angry. And yeah, anyways, I got bail, but I came home and got rid of my cannabis and packed up my. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I thought
Well,
like
fair
that
enough.
was. Yeah, I was very. They scared me out of the industry. They fully scared me
Wow.
out.
For how long?
They scared
Well,
me
that's
out
what they wanted to do.
for about, I guess, 6 or 7 years.
Oh my God.
I worked in solar panel installations and designed solar systems for a while, and then met my partner, and her and I were like, we don't have any, dependents. We've always been curious about living out west. Let's drive across the country and live out west for
Yeah.
6 months or whatever it is. And
just
we
try
drove
it
out
out.
here, and that was 4.5 years ago. So, a statistic, we're Ontarioians that stayed out west, as
Fair
they all
enough.
do.
Yes.
And then right away, I was like, oh, the scene for cannabis out here is very different. And the first job I applied to at a dispensary in Vancouver, I got the job. I was a bud tender. Again, this is before legalization, but
Yeah.
you know the scene.
Yeah.
I'm talking more to your audience, not to you, but
Yeah.
there was a provincially mandated medical model in place. So we were operating legally, effectively, as a medical model dispensary. People had to sign up through a doctor, and we would be able to sell cannabis. So I worked as a bud
Okay.
tender and store manager up until legalization, and then that store closed in the name of going legal, in the name of
Right.
the recreational,
Yeah.
retail license. And then I've been a sales rep, a field representative since then with a few companies. And
Yeah.
we met, of course, when I was working with
Canada.
High Park, repping Kanika and Showy Wowie.
Yeah,
and
you
some
were
of those brands.
one of the first LP reps, as we call it, licensed producer reps that came like when we were just learning about them before we were even opening. So
Yeah. I remember that
Yeah.
you still had
In
like a
the-
construction crew in the front. It was
Yeah.
it was boarded
Oh,
up, like the whole
wow.
thing, and we hung out in the back room, and I did my spiel, and
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
it was the coolest. It
That
was,
was
one of my
awesome.
most memorable product knowledge education
Yeah, because
sessions.
we did. Yeah, it was like a classroom setup we had with you.
yeah,
right?
'cause at
Yeah.
that point we didn't know
Was
anything
was
about
Bubba
like,
there? Was my mom there?
Oh yeah,
Your mom was there, and your mom
taking notes.
and full of questions
Okay.
and full
Oh,
of feedback
she-
and
I'm sure
ideas.
she
and,
had more questions
Would you
than we
consider
did.
making this color different? Because my age group would really, and like I loved
she's
I
adorable.
loved it.
She's
She was so
adorable.
sweet. I didn't mean to make
The
fun of
best
her. I
thing,
hope
like,
I wasn't.
but
making
I was
fun
like,
of her.
I was right next to her, so I was watching. Like when she wrote something down, I wanted to, I was like, well, what what the hell
What's
is
she
writing
writing
down?
down?
And at one point, it was green out ? And we had just talked about that. It was like so.
so cute.
Just so sweet. So had she ever consumed? Had she ever smoked before then?
Yes, she smoked. We
Like
tried
that,
to get her stoned at my father's
yes,
funeral.
I think that
back
she,
in Scarborough, Ontario.
Yep.
She didn't really get high, but did she inhale properly?
I don't know. She smoked it like a cigarette.
Well,
But anyway, she does like CBD, and
Yeah, she's
you
a
know,
capsule.
Of course,
she
of
has
course.
smoked it a couple of times, but she was an ex-smoker, and it just makes her cough, so it's
For
not
sure.
very comfortable.
But she's
she
okay
likes
with like
taking
the
CBD.
Oh, yeah.
CBD, the
Oh,
oils,
she's a
the edibles.
huge advocate for capsules.
Absolutely.
She'll-
When we did
Yeah.
the little seminar at the seniors' home.
Yeah. So we
And
did
she
a
went
cannabis
and-
remember.
event there.
Yeah.
So
before
cool.
COVID. And
So,
so
yeah.
now if she hasn't really come in as much with COVID, but when she would come in, she'd sit on the couch out in the front, and then if another senior would come in, she would help them out or like really encourage them to try
lovely.
it. It's so
Lovely.
awesome. Yeah.
It's
That's the
really
best.
cool to see the
Yeah.
the diversity of people who are now okay to consume. I mean, people have always been consuming cannabis, but
Absolutely.
since legalization,
Yeah.
like all
I
the,
would
the
say
new people, it's so
senior
fun.
day is our most popular
For
day.
sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
it's one of our best
especially
days.
since that seminar, I guess you would call it when we
What's
went.
was it Mondays? Is it? When's senior day for you guys?
Thursdays, same
Thursdays.
shoppers,
Okay.
same
Okay.
shoppers.
Cool. Love that.
Yeah, so now she's boosted, and she wants to wait a couple of weeks until it like.
Mom's
it's like,
boosted too. Mom
Oh
got
yeah,
boosted. Ah,
yes, definitely. She's 82, so
Of course.
and then after 2 weeks she she thinks she'll feel all right to come back.
To start coming back.
Yeah, she would be here for a few hours on Fridays.
Will you give her my love
I
when
will.
you see her?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Yeah.
How did
she'll
you
watch
remember her.
this video for sure.
I remember her
for
fondly.
sure.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with Quest then?
So, High Park was a great foray
Yeah.
into the industry from that side of it. I was traveling the province and enjoying myself. I remember visiting a store. It was Spirit Leaf in Vernon, BC. I remember grabbing my first Quest joint. It was actually Strawberry Cough. I remember grabbing that first joint. I went outside. I went for dinner, and then I was sitting in the parking lot, and I sparked it. And it was like the whitest ash, and it was so smooth. I didn't even feel it in my lungs, and I was just shit-eating great, so happy.
Yeah,
and I remember looking at this white ash and be like, I need to represent cannabis like this.
Yeah.
And then that was my kind of eye-opening experience to it. And then lo and behold, they laid off the whole sales team, the marketing team. They laid out everybody off. This would have been 2 months into the pandemic, so May 2020.
Yeah.
So they laid everybody off, and right away I was like, yeah, cool. I can do whatever I want. I want to get with a much smaller company. I want to focus on the quality of the product.
That was good. You took the happy way.
Yeah.
of course.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a little bit of the when they pay you out for a bit.
Nice.
And then very quickly, the industry, the network is small, of course. So very quickly, I had someone, a colleague, a peer from another company, text me within 10 minutes of the call where they laid off the entire team, being like, "Hey, I heard High Park just laid off the whole." I was like, how did you hear this?
How do you already know?
News travels fast.
Yes.
And then within 2 weeks, I had 10 interviews lined up. But the first conversation I had was with my current boss, Adam, and he called me up. Someone else made the connection between the two of us, and whatever. I don't exactly remember. And then he called me up, and we scheduled a proper interview, I think the following week, and right away we were both like, oh yeah, this is a great fit. So I had a few other interviews, but in the back of my head I was like, I am going with Decibel. Decibel is the name of the licensed producer, the company. So
that is so smart.
Yeah. And then
I think it was a good
it's
fit for sure.
Been a blast since then. We started with a team of 3 salespeople and my boss. That was the entire sales side of the company, and we're now at 12 or 13 territory managers.
So you're original grown then, right?
It feels that way.
Nice.
It feels that way. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a good company to rep, I'd say.
Yeah, really proud
Good
of
practices,
it. Yeah, see something coming soon
they
for education.
obviously have the best of the best, so they're lucky.
And we're transparent. We're open. This is an agricultural product, right? It's a plant. The quality or the finished product will ebb and flow. So
it's a plant. You can't expect.
It's not going to be the cream of the crop every time.
Literally
super proud of the banana OG. We've had a couple misses here and there. That's part of growing and experimenting, and we're trying some cool stuff with some gnarly genetics. But for the most part, I'm super proud of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that.
And lots of cool changes and other things coming soon, and new products, and
must be nice.
Maybe new jobs, new roles. I don't know.
Okay.
Like promotions?
I have something that we're discussing. It's not official yet, but I've been working. Education is the thing that I've always considered myself really good at. Interacting with people, talking about the plant, talking about clearly I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
So those education sessions are what I've always wanted to do. So I've been working on leading the educational focus.
On maybe
with the
a
company.
grander
that
scale.
seems like it would be a
thing.
very good fit for you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah, and that's
Absolutely.
with your giving back. I think that's, and like you're saying, you always worrying about other people. So education is probably really, really a good fit for you.
Thank you, Amy.
We liked it when you come here and educate us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, when are you going to be coming back and doing what do you call those things?
We will
Like a PK session?
plan
Let's do
that
it.
as
Book it
soon
in.
as we're
because
done. here.
we're allowed to now, right?
Absolutely. I think
I mean, I've been doing it for
What do you call
the
them?
past 2 years. Like a PK session,
product
knowledge
knowledge.
education session.
Or do you want a pop up?
Pop up, yeah, that.
I don't really do
Both.
pop-ups.
You don't?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I actually, I love that we don't do pop-ups. I mean,
Okay.
nothing but love for the pop-up.
The
I think
pop-up.
it's great to meet, the representative behind the brand, working with the brand. I found with my former company, I did them all the time, and it felt like a bit of a waste of everyone's time. really, what I think is the best is when I get to like interact with the bud tenders and
Yeah.
they get
We
to
have
talk.
the influence.
Otherwise, most people who came in for the pop-ups, you can
Could
probably
care less.
They want like, yo, give me a free shirt or a hat or like some stickers, and then like, wait, can I tell you about this like actual flower, this pre-roll, whatever? And they're like, no, just give me the hat.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Ah."
Yeah, there'd be maybe a
Yeah.
couple or a few people that actually.
Because you're not allowed to even give them like, here's a coupon.
No.
Right?
You can't even say like, go buy that product and you get a hat. You can have a free hat no matter what you do, no matter what you purchase. You could even
Yeah.
leave the store
Yeah.
without buying anything, and
Yeah.
here's your hat.
Yeah, I feel like that's
It's a lot of waste.
Yeah.
bit of
No, and I get the waste of time thing too.
Problem.
What's gonna like actually benefit the store and the customers more?
Mhm.
Well, I love
Probably
the
educating
idea
the
of-
bud tenders.
That's like, don't you just love? We'll just have a monthly.
And then we get to hang out with you.
That's
Yeah.
what I really want.
like, could you
Nothing
do?
but love to your customers. I want to hang out with you.
Yeah, like maybe you could do something even at the front
Mhm.
where it's like our monthly staff meeting, and you have 15 minutes to like show us something.
With pleasure.
Okay, yeah, we could do something.
15
Like, I
minutes.
don't know, 30 minutes.
Have
like,
you
doesn't
met
have to
me?
be-
I will
What?
talk
Excuse
for
me.
a lot longer.
I'm not
than
gonna
that.
get him to come down and only taking 15 minutes of his time. Like, that's
You guys,
All
I'll,
right.
I'll take
That's
whatever
not
I can
long
get.
enough, mother.
Whatever I
Okay,
can get.
45 then, and then we'll have 15.
Awfully generous of you.
I was piggybacking it onto a regular monthly meeting. That's what I was thinking.
I think no. I think we would be much better
Or
and much
instead
more
of-
fun. We just have a
Just
PK
him.
session just
Right.
all together.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
So we get to
whatever.
enjoy it.
Why don't we
What
do
you
it
mean?
all? Why don't we do both?
With cake
Oh, listen, with
and
cake.
cronuts. Actually, I really just want a
Cake
cronut.
and-
You want a Corona? What's up? What's up? Is it because you've never had one? Is that
I've
why you're
never
so
had one. I didn't even know they
infatuated?
existed for the longest time.
Are you
What?
talking
And nobody
about a beer?
makes no. Cronut is a croissant donut.
Oh.
It's basically croissant pastry, just in a different shape.
You guys were
But
talking about
made
a
into
beer.
a donut with icing on it. Like
And
it's
you, because of it's made, so there's like different spots that are extra crispy. There's so much textural.
and I don't
texture.
understand
No
why
idea.
nobody really does this. Like, I've never heard of this before. I'm
I'll
not, I'm
gladly
actually not
bring
going to
you
name
one.
age myself, but
I'll bring you one from the main spot that I know of is,
I know,
is
you keep
Meat,
saying
the
that,
MEET, Meat on Main.
One
It's
of
like a
these
vegan
days.
vegetarian restaurant.
meat, yeah.
So
that's
they have a
good-
cronut.
that's
It's
freaking
filled with
awesome.
like cream. It's a Bavarian cream cronut.
Okay.
It's delightful.
That's what I
with
need.
creme
A
fraiche,
cronut
something
filled
like
It's so
really
good.
French and
It's
like.
danger good.
I'm addicted to baking shows, so
It's
I can
awful.
picture that.
Love baking.
Oh, it's awful.
I don't like to
Why
bake.
do
Do you?
do
Are you?
this?
But you do.
I'm a
don't
big.
you?
Sorry. So hold on. Apologies. I have to stop there. You love baking shows, but you don't like to bake.
No, she just likes
That is
watching them, and then
Love watching
torturing.
them. And then every now and
Don't you
then
want to eat
herself.
everything? And you're like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
now I
I
gotta go
don't
make some.
understand.
But I'll get really stoned, and then I'll say to Linley, "Oh, let's get
go
the ingredients and make this,"
that.
and then it's like within a split second,
Half
it's
a
like,
second, like,
no,
No, I'm not gonna-
Why
I'm not
would
gonna
you?
do
Why would you ever? Yeah, no.
So-
Do you have? Okay, have you? Little side note, but it is related. Have you ever seen Old Gregg on YouTube?
Old Gregg.
Old Gregg? No,
Old Gregg.
I'm Old Gregg. No,
No,
I don't think so.
Oh,
What
okay.
is Old Gregg? What is Old Gregg?
No idea.
it was like I've literally shown this to you already, but you don't remember anything, so don't worry. It's an old YouTube video, and it's like a skit, and it's freaking hilarious. And this like underwater sea creature named Old Gregg, who has a mangina that literally glows light under a tutu. It's freaking hilarious.
You have
Anyways,
shown me that.
yes, absolutely. Anyways, the guy who plays Old Gregg is now
Right,
is now one of the hosts of one of her baking shows.
Well, he has been for several years.
Yes.
Not just, now I'm watching reruns of the Great
Why does
Britain
nobody
baking
know
show.
what Old
And what's his
Gregg is?
name?
I can't remember. I'll have to
Fuck, when you
Google
showed
it.
me
Well,
that, it was
anyways,
so
if
funny.
anybody's watching this, you have to search up Old Gregg, but
Yeah.
search up Old Gregg full video. And you
But
have
if
to
you
watch the whole
search
thing.
Old Gregg, you might get a baking show that comes up.
No. Old Gregg,
know, it's the-
you will definitely
It's
get
not
the
the
right
actor,
video.
it's the character.
Yeah, no, it's really funny.
What's the baking show that he's the host of?
Britain's greatest
Yeah,
baking
Great
show?
Britain baking
Show.
Have you seen the SNL like kind of version, the SNL sketch about the baking shows?
No.
Oh, it's so funny. They go one by one, and they're all terrible. They're like, this is the inspiration. This is what I was going for, and this is what it is. And it's like a pile of mush.
Right.
And then usually, like, there's one that's absolutely perfect, and they just breeze over. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like, who cares about that? Next. And then finally, there's always one that's, like, disgusting and falling apart, and then the cake, like, comes to life and is just, like, It's like, kill me. It's, like, spitting, like the creme fraiche. It's spitting the cream. It's terrible.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
It's nice to see some cannabis infused baking shows. I've seen some of those, which are kind of cool.
Yes, what was it? Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. So it'd be nice to start
So
seeing more
fun.
of those.
There's one that I remember seeing. They were like 10 or 15 minute long shows, and it was a cooking show. It was like a gourmet, but a competition as well. And then the judges, a panel of judges, ate the food, and then like 30 minutes later, they'd be like 30-minute time lapse, and they'd be like, yeah, that's actually really good.
That's
'cause
really good.
I'll
Yeah.
be baked out by that point.
Then I
I
think
think
the
I've seen that
judging
one
would
too, but I
be
don't remember the
really,
name of
I
it.
don't remember.
really
what it's called either.
generous. I think the judging would be, oh, that's really good.
It's all-
Oh my
it's
god,
all so
it's so
delicious.
good. How do we do this?
This is the best of this that
That's
I've
why
ever
they
tried.
keep the doses like 1 milligram per dish. Like they keep it quite small so they don't get like.
Do you know the Nomad Cook?
No. Does
Check
does
him
he
out on
bake
the
with weed?
Instagram. No, he is a gourmet chef that will do like private parties for people, and they're 4-course, 5-course meals or whatever, and they're all infused. And you can one of the stores that I get to work with like hosted a party, and they brought me along, and I got to eat this amazing food, all infused. And what's cool is he goes around the table at the beginning and asks what your preferred dosage is. So, you can do as little as 0, really. He doses it as he makes it. So you can do 0 milligrams.
Well, that's nice. That's
and
cool.
then one of the guys around the table I did my 25 or 50 milligrams. I had to drive later, so I wanted to be respectful. Yeah. And then someone...
You're good on
I'm okay, yeah, thank you.
This is
and
one
then,
of the diamonds.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then someone went for 420 milligrams.
You want to try it, Emma?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 400
party.
milligrams is a bit heavy. And he's like, oh, I never feel edibles. I don't feel edibles at all. And then,
Like a real chef is
Boom.
doing it.
an hour later, I was like, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
remember his name. I was like, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Because like
And he was
I
just
have
like,
tried.
I feel pretty high now, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
probably.
hilarious.
I've tried probably so many different edibles by people who've baked them themselves, where it's been 400, 5. Like it never really does anything for me. But if I went to something like that and a real chef was doing that, I would realize that maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe don't.
But
do that.
one day, we're gonna obviously need some restaurants, some cafes.
Oh my God, it's gonna
some
Yes,
come.
coffee
it's
shops
coming.
where
Yes.
like your food.
Let's
is
actually segue
infused.
perfectly into my next question.
Okay,
I have a
which
feeling.
is?
Which challenges do you think are holding back the cannabis industry? Right.
The government, man. The government's control of cannabis.
Okay, but like,
But
let's
actually
go
seriously.
deeper.
That
What
is
do
serious.
you want to see
Yeah.
next in the industry? Like, what do you
Like
think we need to
product?
push back on?
So many things. So one thing is obviously, I love the idea. I mean, back in the day, there would be like we would have it in bulk in the back, and we could weigh it out in front of you, and you could almost like pick and choose and decide and smell it. You could actually smell it before you bought it. What a novel idea. So that would be lovely to bring back, or to have a work around. I also, and nothing but love for the store. I'm a fan of wineries. Like I love going to a winery. I'll sometimes buy online direct from the winery.
Do you want to hear some good news
Yeah.
on that? Because we're members of Acres.
You're doing it. Direct delivery.
They're working on
Farmgate, it's
Farmgate.
called.
So
Farmgate.
that
Yeah.
will be when you can go to the actual
You must.
grow ops and
Of
do
course.
those things
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So that is going to be coming. It's already started a little bit in Ontario.
In Ontario, yeah.
And
Thrive was the first
maybe
one, and then there's a second.
Saskatchewan. Maybe that was something else.
I-
No, but
I
definitely
heard that there
Ontario.
was one out east as well.
You still can't try it
Probably
on
Nova
site, but
Scotia or-
they're pushing the boundaries a little bit. So that's something that's being worked on. And then
So I love that.
direct delivery will be nice, because then like when the LBDB brings a thing on or doesn't bring on products, we can actually get them from the real source.
Yeah,
which
part
will
of,
be
like, I
nice.
mean,
Direct, yeah.
So ironic in BC that a lot of people that are in the department that monitor us literally are dead set against it.
Mm-hmm.
and
a lot of them
You know,
came from the liquor side of things, and
and then the whole complication with reconciliation is
Oh my gosh.
also complicating it, and like how to deal with that.
Because there's a lot of stores that are open and operating, not under the federal licensing program, but again in the name of truth and reconciliation, where you can't really do anything about it, but at the same time, for you as a
You don't, it's
you
like
don't want to necessarily
Yeah.
combat that, but you also have to pay your gnarly licensing fee, and you're dealing with some other restrictions that those stores don't actually abide by.
I'm hopeful that they
tough to
will
navigate.
work it out or
Yeah.
come to some kind of
Work that into a
arrangement.
program.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like I get that it has to be, woven in somehow. And I believe there's a way that we can all win. But
honestly, I think one of the biggest things is consumer education, because I mean, I still get people that come in who
that's
don't
very big.
understand like the pricing or the quality, and when they do start to try legal weed or government weed as they call it, which is not, it's just regulations. It's not government weed. The government is not growing
It's
your weed.
is it the liquor store
Like
selling
actual
government liquor?
Yeah,
Like, is
right,
that what- it's
exactly,
not- it's the
right?
exact
they're
same
making
thing.
it all.
Yeah.
They have
So
all
I
the
mean,
stills in the back.
I'm surprised at how many minds I change every day, but that's a beautiful thing. I change minds every
Of
day.
course you
We
do.
do all the freaking
You're
time.
an educator.
So instead of getting angry or upset about it, I try and focus on the fact that we're literally in the front lines and we're literally changing this industry as we go, and it's awesome. We can
100%.
only move forward. We're not going back necessarily. I don't necessarily. We may not get to a point where we have bulk in the back where we can do that. They might not let that happen, but they might, reduce the packaging, make it more sustainable. Maybe have hemp packaging.
Completely.
That'd
Or
be nice.
maybe
so many things.
Like how they have make your own wine places. You could have come here and have use our equipment to
that.
grow your own stuff.
Oh,
like
I
that.
totally
that.
believe that will happen.
Completely.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Completely.
that'll be cool.
Even at like a first step, all those things seem so exciting and so far away a little bit. As a first step, equate cannabis to alcohol at the very least. So right now, I can go into the local liquor
Yeah, the
store
stigma
and walk out
needs
with
to-
a grocery cart full of liquor that can literally kill me. Like
Yeah,
literally
like
will fucking kill me.
actually.
But I can come
Yeah.
into your store and buy the equivalent of 30 grams of dry
Yeah.
cannabis, which, based on the formula, is equivalent of like
Five
5
drinks.
or like
Yeah.
3 bath bombs, or literally
Well,
I can
how
buy,
they
Can you
equate
believe
it
they
is
even,
very.
they even consider bath bombs? It's just
there is no rhyme or reason. This is
in
by
the-
weight. That's
it's
it
the
is-
weight.
rhyme and
It's the
reason.
weight. Yeah, the equivalency to dried flower is by weight. Count the milligrams, perhaps, of THC
And-
or
Yeah, it
whatever.
should be maybe by the actual
And the
cannabis in
fact
the
that
product.
you couldn't even consume in a day the
Well,
amount
stuff
of
that we're working
cannabis that would actually harm you.
No, you can't. No one has ever died from consuming cannabis.
No,
People-
because
many people
cannabis
have died
doesn't.
from alcohol.
It doesn't work
Of course,
on
on a daily
your
basis.
breathing or your heart, so your heart can't actually stop. You can't stop breathing from it.
And I'm wondering even like when you were saying that when you were smoking for your headaches, isn't cannabis good for like helping to lower blood pressure?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's
there's a
especially
lot of
like
things,
eye pressure for glaucoma. That's
Right.
how that was
Glaucoma.
when the first thing that I knew about its medical use is it's good for glaucoma because it helps to reduce the pressure.
didn't know
I
what
love
glaucoma
how
was.
much
That's
I'm
blood
It's
learning.
pressure?
high pressure in your eyes.
Right.
Certain,
so that's when you see
certain
the silver
strains,
things?
of course.
Well, that's more related to like the migraine coming on. I am, I guess, more susceptible to glaucoma. It usually happens later in life. Or not a lot of older people, but the people who get glaucoma, it's
They're
often later in
typically
life.
older, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's an
I see.
ocular
Yeah.
pressure thing, and you can get they can do cataracts to reduce the pressure, but to control the symptoms, you can also incorporate cannabis into your life, into your lifestyle.
Not every
Crazy.
strain is going to work. Also,
of course.
we're not doctors. We're
No,
not.
no,
You're
I'm
not
just
medical
wondering, yeah.
practitioners.
We're.
What has
we're-
worked for me is
Exactly.
what has
I'm
worked
a
for me?
learning cannabis health specialist, but I can't make any claims. Neither can you. But
No,
Some
I wasn't making
people-
a claim.
some
That's
people
not
have
my
reported
value.
But
that this is
there
what-
are lots of
Yeah.
studies that you can go out and search up
Yes.
for yourself.
Yes.
There are
yes,
absolutely
yes,
lots of
yes.
studies. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's
quite
the other cool
fascinating,
thing.
yeah.
Aside from rec, it would be cool if like doctors and nurse practitioners, or maybe there were other medical practitioners that were more equipped to actually talk
They
about the
need
program.
the education. Absolutely. It's kind of weird that that's not now required. They absolutely should. I think that will change as we go. But something that we've been talking in our class is as the recreational side becomes easier, doctors are saying that the medical side isn't necessarily needed anymore. It's not. It's like maybe slowly dying out. Might not, but
Interesting.
just because a lot of the time the companies don't have they have only so many medical stuff on there. It's a lot of a process. Now people are finding, because it is recreational, they can get their medicine at the stores. Obviously there's pros to the medical side. You can get some of your tax reduced and stuff, but a lot of doctors are saying that's
I think
not
more
necessarily
for the consultation though, because like
Yeah.
you can't in your store as a retail,
Yeah.
you know, as recreational retail,
we
you
can't give
can't
an advice,
technically-
but maybe if the medical side died out, we'd be allowed to say hire
Interesting.
someone who's trained, such as when I graduate, I will be, and kind of go that route.
And those
maybe that
regulations
we'll
allow-
be able to kind of push back on
Yeah.
that a little bit,
Yeah.
which I think hopefully we should. And I know a lot of people do kind of mitigate their own risk and push the boundaries a little bit. I know in Ontario they have billboards and commercials and people are pushing the boundaries with packaging, and I think they should, because I think a lot of the rules are, they need to be changed and loosened up a little bit.
Completely.
So
I like
let's
the
do it.
word like it's all
Revolution.
storytelling. So I like that you can answer someone's if someone comes in and is talking about anxiety or talking about sleep issues. So like, I'm not a medical practitioner. I can't speak to that directly.
No.
I can tell
Yeah.
you that when I'm having trouble sleeping, this has been known to work for me.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that it'll work for you, but this has been
Yeah.
good for me. And
even apparently that's a
allowed.
gray area, but
Why saying that it's worked for me?
yeah.
I thought you can speak from personal experience.
I was thinking that too, but in class it seems like there's a lot of more gray area around that, but I mean, maybe that's part of the pushback a little bit.
And that's frustrating that like no one really knows.
It
you
is,
know, like,
because a
where
lot of
that
it is
line
interpreting the very difficult wording
Yep.
of the Cannabis Act. So, there is that gray
I find
area a
that
little
like
bit.
most people that come in now that are like for medical, which is usually older people, and I mean like over 40,
Okay.
they kind of have already done some research, and I'll
Yeah.
just say like, oh, what are you going to be using it for? And then they'll say, well, I've heard it helps me sleep. And, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to figure out, well, which form would they kind of focus on the form of it.
Yeah.
But I just find that's like, yeah, I've got, somebody said like I've got arthritis and blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah. It's important to just,
Or you ask
They-
what you
like,
use
they
for.
decided.
Fantasia.
yeah.
You
Usually,
smoked weed and watched Fantasia? Woo!
oh yeah, that's amazing. Actually, I haven't watched that movie in so long.
It's so good.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, I
good.
usually just say something like you said, just like, by the way, we're not allowed.
Yeah.
I can't give you any. And usually they know by now. I feel like a lot of people, they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, don't worry about it. I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to say my mom uses it, finds that it works for.
You can
pain?
say I think that's again in the gray area. You can
Yeah.
say I can't give you any medical advice, but yeah, my mom uses it all the time for hers. It might not work for you.
You know what's probably a more accurate way, and this is like one of the stories that I tell, is if someone asks me for sleep recommendation, like what product is good for sleep, I can't speak to that. I can tell you that I smoked this Kush Mints while watching a movie last night. Man, couldn't keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
So I'm not really I'm not even going to I'm not using the word
Yeah,
insomnia.
like
there's
things
no
like that are
medical-
so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
love that.
remember one time I was in Salmon Arm doing a pop-up for my former company, and a guy came in, and the clerks were busy, so he came up to me. He was like, my 11-year-old autistic son has trouble, relaxing. Like, what can you recommend? I was like, I'm
yeah,
sorry, dude. Like, I am
no.
not, and also you're asking for someone who's underage, and you're asking for someone else. Like, I can't touch that at all.
No.
But I can maybe talk to you about what works for me to relax at the end of a long day. Like, wink, wink. And he was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but my 11-year-old autistic son.
my God.
I was like, sorry, buddy,
Sorry, bud,
I can't go on with this conversation whatsoever.
Yeah, it
You
can get
tried
tough.
your best.
I tried.
Absolutely did. Yeah. So yeah, I hope eventually those kind of rules will happen. And then I would really love to address these damn edible restrictions, but I think that might be coming too. I know with Acres they're working on a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
exciting
10
things are
milligrams isn't enough for you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's just
I feel
Strangely
one of
enough.
those
Not that I don't think there should be those options. I think people should have that option, absolutely. But I think we realize that maybe 50 milligrams, we could go with that. That would be a
It
nice
seems to be like a
adjustment.
holdover excuse for black market diehards. It's like just almost like a talking point. Oh, you can't get a strong edible.
Yeah, which
it's
is
like-
absolutely ridiculous because if you do any look into black market edibles being tested, which tons of companies have done now, they are not
They're
what
not
you
accurate.
think
They are,
at all. You're
exactly.
getting crap, and you're getting
Yeah.
a lot of contaminants, which are probably not good for you anyway.
Yeah.
So I like to know what the frick I'm getting, and I can actually like tell when I have a few of them. When I usually still smoke as well, but I can tell that it's actually adding. Where I can eat like a 400 milligram edible that
And
someone
just
bakes,
barely
and
feel
nothing
it.
happens.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And now
we need
for
to move
prices are
forward
coming
with that
down,
kind of
so
stuff.
It's not
Absolutely.
also such a bite.
Yeah,
You
like
get
$3.50.
a cookie for $3.50.
I've seen some of the
And
gummies
they're
for like
really
$3.99.
good.
Like
Yeah, they're really
So-
good.
There's also, I love taking things into your own hands. Like you have
Yeah, make
oils.
your own stuff.
You have some oils
We
there
have
that
edible
300,
kits.
maybe 1,000 even I can't remember what the max is, but you have
Yeah.
some hundreds of milligrams
I know,
of
yeah,
THC.
exactly,
You can make
so-
your own product.
Yeah.
Teach people how to, buy your flour, buy the ounce bag and make it into butter and then make that into
Yeah.
cookies or
The
brownies
tea
and
gods,
dose
which
yourself.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard that they might be going
Really?
out of business.
What?
I'm a fan.
I'm
I
sorry,
love
what?
the tea gods. I heard that someone maybe like their last
I gotta stock
investor
up.
maybe pulled out, so they
I wonder.
might.
I
I
wonder
don't
why.
know, like someone else. to buy
I'm a
them,
big
they
fan. I
can't.
heard this from
They're
Bubba
amazing.
Thrive Bubba Nicholson, Graybeard Bubba.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He recommended, I can't remember exactly which drink, but I think it was a House of Terpenes drink, which isn't my favorite. But you take a drink, 5 milligram, 10
Yeah.
milligram drink, and pour like 2 of those 10 milligram tea gods in there.
Mm-hmm.
Goes down like water, and now you have 30 milligrams of
Yeah,
THC on
it's
board.
super awesome because I think it's like the closest thing to tasteless. I think it has a little bit, but it's so convenient. The water soluble ones, they always have added
They have
stuff in it that are
weird taste.
very
weird
awful.
Taste. I haven't found
You
one
mean
that's
like
clean.
as a pre-drink? Like what tastes awful?
They're like the water
remember like
drops.
the those
the
drops.
yawn?
The yawn, the
yawn,
tingle, and
okay.
then there's another company
Yeah,
that does
they
it, but they
are
add
really
stuff
bad.
into it and they taste awful. So
Yeah, and I don't
if
know
you're
why they did
listening, change that.
There's a brand,
and then we'll
fr-
buy them again.
There's a brand from the olden days, before legalization, Farm and Florist, and I stocked up and I have the coconut oil is going a bit old, but a coconut oil and I have an olive oil. That each jar, like the coconut oil is like this, it's infused with I think 300 milligrams of THC.
That's cool.
And I think I can't remember exactly, each teaspoon maybe is 5 or 10. And I'll regularly, like,
So dope.
in the blender, throw some coffee, throw a
Yeah.
teaspoon or a tablespoon of that, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of maple syrup, maybe a little bit of butter, and, like, make a bulletproof
bullet.
coffee.
Yeah.
That's now, like, this delicious, infused bulletproof coffee.
Okay.
Delightful.
That does sound really good.
Really
Yeah.
good.
Well, what's that you've been doing, like hot milk or something?
Yeah, okay, so in my class I learned that, okay, you know the term bang, like
Yeah.
bang chocolates and stuff. The term bang actually comes from ancient India when they used to make a milk and cannabis drink, and that's how they found spiritual enlightening.
So cool.
And so I've been using that with like Mexican vanilla and monk fruit instead of sugar, and then tea gods and
What instead of
CBD.
sugar?
Monk fruit.
Monk fruit.
You should.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't spike your insulin and all
Yeah.
Ah,
But
lower
it-
my glycemic index.
But it actually tastes and looks like sugar.
Really?
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Monk?
Really
It's
close.
like monk fruit.
Monk.
I will show you later because we have.
MONK fruit.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
amazing. It's
Okay.
a game
I
changer.
gotta check this out.
Absolutely. So I've been doing that, and it's fucking delicious. And
So
I have my
good.
tea gods or my CBD or both. It's so good.
That's so good.
Yeah. It's
Are
freaking
you
awesome.
concentrates consumers? Do you take dabs? Are you a dabber?
I love
Like
dabbing.
I do, but we used to do it way more often.
Yeah.
I don't, for whatever reason, I just don't
now
happen
it seems to be like a
but
special occasion when Nicole's
I do
around
miss it,
kind
and
of
I think
thing.
it-
Of course, Nicole's
I
your
think we need
resident
to get
dabber.
that. Yeah,
I
she is.
remember. I
Expert.
remember.
she's dabsy babsy.
Yeah.
Dabsy
Yeah.
Babsy.
Yeah. So I love a good dab, but it just
Yeah, I love
never
shatter.
doesn't happen very
So fun.
often. Yeah.
I like the super high, like the terpene ones, like the rosins,
Yeah.
and some of the live resins that are kicking on the market right now. Are
Have you
so
tried
good.
the rad crumbles?
I have not tried the
Those
resin.
are
so-
really popular, but I haven't tried that yet
Nicole
either.
tried those?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask.
Yeah.
I've tried some of the the
She hasn't
Verse.
mentioned them to me.
Verse had a cool diamonds.
There's just
terp-
so many
terp thing that was so
options.
delicious.
It's hard to keep
I'm a
up
sucker
with
for like the rosins, like
Yeah.
the
them.
big,
You want
has a nice
you
one.
want the full experience.
Yeah.
Fair.
Love the pressed.
Yeah.
The
You want just
mechanically
the whole
pressed,
plant.
delicious. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the best
We
that
have
way.
my company partnered with Cody Colson, who's a solventless guru, let's call him, in Ontario, and they made a cold cured live rosin out of our Sunset Mac, and it is
Yum.
like literally, and I'm not saying because I rep the brand, literally the best rosin that I've tried. Sadly,
That would be so good.
it never came to BC. It was in Ontario and Alberta.
So annoying.
So I had a friend of mine grab some to send me a sample.
So
and
frustrating.
oh my god, it's like the best thing in the world. But yes, I'm sorry. It did not come
BC
here.
is so annoying.
Really
Have you ever
annoying.
tried the
Those are
lemon
all the
pepper
people
batter?
that don't like.
And pepper
The
batter.
Purple Hills lemon pepper batter.
No.
Oh, you
I
guys!
don't even know what that is. Batter is a different
It's
type
it's
of.
it's a kind of live resin. It's just the consistency of it.
It's like whipped or something.
It's
right?
like whipped and it's
Oh my
creamy. It's
God,
like
this
just
is so
lemonini, like full of
Lemonini.
lemons. It's the most uplifting
Yeah.
and happy,
No.
like mouth-wateringly
I
delicious.
should try that one. No, it's so annoying that
Do you
BC
find that
is so.
strong?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
beautiful. I
it's
love
gnarly strong, right?
love it.
Yeah.
I smoked one the other night and I was like, you can feel like the concentrate
Yeah,
behind your eyes.
absolutely.
Like you can feel the.
it. So yeah, we're like, it's almost like we're dabbing right now.
I love it. Yeah, we're dabbing right
I
now.
feel like
I mean,
we
I'm
are.
not, but you are.
Yeah. I'm just so annoyed that Ontario gets like everything and everybody else gets everything. And BC, not that the LDB would ever watch this, but fucking do better. God.
Somebody might.
The coffee pods are apparently in Ontario.
From Boaz.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll come here.
Boaz is actually the first one that's gonna make Phoenix Tears. But
Like a
how-
super concentrated.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well,
Thick,
what's
brown,
I
like
saw
actual stuff.
something about.
It's a medical product.
But this coming out
On the
in-
rec market?
Well, in
I
Ontario,
love it. I
so
love it.
let's
Oh,
fight
in
for it
Ontario.
here. So yeah, we gotta help fight
You
them.
can
on
make
it.
requests. Do you make requests
Yes,
online?
absolutely. But most of them like, yeah, sure. Like I tried to, because they brought in the Renew oil, the CBN oil from Soleil, and then they got rid of it because it didn't sell fast enough. But they have like no CBN products, and then so I requested it, and they're like, well, this is our lineup right now. We're gonna expand it more in the future, but that just didn't sell well enough. And it's like, but I'll buy it.
Yeah. I'm a customer too.
Like,
hey,
what do you mean?
I,
So hopefully that will be. Sorry.
I got excited.
It'll be
about
nice
something.
to go to Soleil and be able to buy it directly from them. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I just remembered
I know,
the
then I-
apricot kush live sugar from last time. Did you try it?
Wait,
Oh
Really?
yes,
That
we
behind?
did. We had we had a
Um,
special occasion.
yeah, we did.
What was it? Was it Christmas?
maybe.
When did it might have been
I
Christmas?
think it was.
It
When,
was
yes.
before. Yeah, it was before.
So I
Christmas,
think
yeah.
we had it at Christmas.
Yes, we saved it for Christmas.
I love that.
And so we had
Special
Christmas
occasion.
dinner with most of the staff
Nice.
at our place, and so that it was
Perfect.
great.
It's one of my favorites too.
Great.
It's like sweet and
So
sour,
yummy.
and it's so aromatic and flavorful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So are concentrates your favorite way to consume?
I'm relatively new to concentrates.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying the exploration. I love how like clean some of them are and
It
how
is
delicious.
really
I love
clean.
the flavor.
Yeah.
The one thing that's frustrating for me is I'm a bit of a lightweight, so I can for most joints I can smoke a whole joint. I enjoy
Yeah.
smoking a joint.
They
Joints
just
are
need a
probably
little
my
bit.
classic way,
Yeah,
but like
it's your favorite.
concentrates, I take a puff and I'm like, oh, I want so much more, as if I was smoking a
But,
joint,
yeah.
but like my head is just like I'm
yes,
done
you
so.
do have to like
You gotta.
Be careful.
condition yourself to like
No,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
stop.
There have been a few times where I'm like,
Dab
my
and
mouth
rest.
wants more, but
yeah.
I take it and I'm like,
brain
no, that was too
will
much.
die.
I did not need that
I
extra.
did not need more.
It's kind of like dessert.
I'm like that
Tastes
with
so
I will
good.
smoke a whole joint, and I really shouldn't.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I find sometimes like microdosing cannabis like works very well for me. I find sometimes
I love it.
a toke of a joint and I can feel it and I feel good and I'm comfortable.
Then-
But then I love smoking a joint and then half of the joint later I'm like, now I'm not as capable or functional or whatever
Yeah,
the case may
you
be.
just need to make sure you don't get past your level then.
Yeah. But it's so fun. I
but
love
But sometimes
the-
it
I
is
love
nice
the
to get
action.
past your level.
Oh,
what
it's
about
so fun.
high,
Just depends.
low THC, high CBD?
Yeah,
what do
I'm
you
a
guys-
fan. I'm a big fan.
What are your?
Do you have any offerings for that?
Not from my company. No,
Right.
we don't have anything with high CBD, and I haven't. There's been a handful of like Tantalus products over the years. The Canatonic, I think, was
Canatonic.
theirs like a while back.
That's like
Matter.
they still
It's
have
one of my
that.
favorites.
Is it still
Who does
kicking?
that?
Yeah, but that's like mostly CBD.
Yeah,
It has like
true.
Oh, that's like the free from Soleil. Like
Yeah.
then
right.
they have like the Harley Quinn, which would be closer to a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1.
I like those. I like
Mango
that.
Haze is another one that's really good.
There was from Color.
Color.
Yeah, I like
Color
that one.
has
Yeah.
I have,
Right, the 10-pack.
to be honest, I got like an ounce of straight like high CBD flower from the dispensary that I used to work at before legalization. And I like
you
every
just
couple
mix
of months
it,
I
yeah.
throw out, I change the Boveda or the Boost Pack or whatever's in there, and it's still like I still smoke it. My wife's not a
Yeah.
consumer, not a cannabis consumer.
Yeah.
Really, she'll take a toke from like high CBD now and then. So I really kept it for her, and I find that one lovely. Like it's so
Well, that's
light.
cool because you could mix
really
it
like
in
it.
with any of your stuff too.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
would make it nice.
Big fan.
What are some of your favorite strains?
Ooh, I do. So, I think. Remember Love Potion?
Oh God, it's been so long.
Yeah. Love Potion is one that like really stands out as one that over the years, anytime I found
course
it,
you love
it worked
Love
perfectly with
Potion.
me. It was like happy and light and
Yeah.
clear, and I just felt perfect, free
Yeah.
from anxiety, all that good stuff. I used
Old
to grow
school.
Jean Guy back in the day, and like I haven't found.
There's so
It's been a
many.
long time.
Terrible Jean Guy, but that was-
they're all different.
They're all so different. So this
Yeah.
Jean Guy was what I got it from the guy who it was the
And it
real
was
Jean
high
Guy.
CBD?
No, this is THC.
Oh, okay.
These are
Yeah, 'cause
like
we-
sativa
I
leading.
remember Jean-Guy. It was...
So good, so good. One of the favorites. When I find like a really nice Blue Dream, I feel like that's lovely. There's been a few. Honestly, the Quest Reserve Point Break
That's really
was
nice.
and is one of my favorite cultivars. Tropicana cookies crossed with Trophy Wife. It's like orange. It's like almost this
Yeah.
orange
That sounds
creamsicle
good.
gassy
We've
thing
had that.
going on.
It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really tasty. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
So good.
Yeah, one of the faves.
I had the banana OG pre-rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Those were really good. Really
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
those
the
will
whole.
fuck you up a
The
little
pre-rolls
bit.
Well,
are
that's
great.
the
The whole
flower.
flower is so much.
This is what we're
Yeah.
gonna have
Oh,
for
yeah, it's
Just
beautiful.
the
dinner.
process. Oh my gosh.
We'll have that
It's a
banana
beautiful-
OG for dinner.
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
for
dinner.
dessert or
Yeah.
for dinner and dessert.
Both.
Appetizer.
All the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll just enhance all of it.
Appetizer and dessert.
Mhm. What were your first impressions of us?
I had a feeling you would ask a question like that.
Yeah.
And I laughed to myself
Yeah.
when I thought that because it's a funny question to ask. It's as if I'm going to, as if like obviously I'll tell the truth,
Yeah.
but as if I'm going to say like, nah, you guys
Yeah.
all kind of
Yeah,
you're all
just
kind of
like-
done.
You're all like
Kinda
shit,
boring.
but you
Take
grew
care,
on
leave,
me.
yeah. You know.
I mean, you might.
Well, I would never.
No, you would not. Never. You
I-
would never.
I-
ever.
I did not praise her enough as a child, so
That's
So I
what
just
this-
constantly,
That's what this is all about.
constantly look for praise
Yeah.
anywhere I can.
Yeah.
I just framed it in this way.
I
I got all my
I-
staff to tell me too.
I thought you all were so cool, like so badass.
Yeah, you did.
Tristan called me.
Oh, when we've got like Baba there, like
Oh yeah,
asking
asking
about-
most of the questions.
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
She
remember
really-
getting
she
a
gave
phone
us a
call.
lot of credit,
I think I
for
sent
sure.
just like an email. I don't remember exactly, but I got a phone call from
Yeah.
your dad.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a parking lot in Vancouver, and he was like, "Hey, we just got like we're expecting our license." We had a great conversation, and I remember like feeling like,
Love
"Oh yeah,
it.
we're gonna get along
Yeah.
well." And then it was just a few weeks later that I came out here to run that PK. I even brought like a projector that I had rented. I was all excited, and I projected it up on the wall.
Yeah,
and
all official.
And it was very very comfortable, right? It
Yeah.
was a very relaxed environment.
Homey.
Everyone was happy. I think there was pizza got delivered.
And did we had
Yes!
we would have had Ruby at least. I don't know if
Yep.
we didn't have Honey yet, but we would have had Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby was kicking. Your mama was kicking,
Yeah,
of
Ruby was probably
course.
asleep.
And just like the whole setup, it was right away part of the gang, like one of the
Absolutely.
coolest crews
Bet
on
Mishka was there.
No, Mishka wouldn't have been there because she doesn't like strangers.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, it was probably just Ruby.
Just-
I remember a few dogs. I could have pictured more than one dog. Did one of
Oh.
your staff members maybe have their dog, or
Because
I could have sworn there was
Brad wouldn't
at
have had
least-
Onyx yet. I don't
Well,
think
he
we
had Onyx before we had Honey.
Is it's possible that
Ju-
Onyx
only
was
by
there?
a couple days.
Oh.
Aaron, Chris, and I were in Mexico.
Came back to 2 dogs.
Yep.
I see.
There was at least one quadrupede there. There's at least one dog.
I don't know. It's
I think
possible
two.
we had Honey and Onyx already. But they would have been puppies. I don't know. Anyways, there were dogs.
There were dogs. There were also people.
There was people.
And there was pizza.
There's
and it was
pizza.
just like super lovely, like
It
right
was
at
amazing.
home. It felt like very comfortable. Obviously,
Bunch of keeners for sure.
I've always bonded, like especially well, like all love to everyone in the space, in the industry.
Yeah.
I really feel an affinity for like the legacy, the people that were operating and have been in this space and have been part of the culture, let's call it, for before legalization. And so I knew right away we were tight, right? It was cool. It was comfortable.
Instant bonding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instant love.
I've been a big fan since then. That was 3+ years ago.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, we love
I'm a
it.
fan of you all.
I mean, yeah, you're literally our favorite, so
Super sweet.
sorry everybody else.
Oh,
He's just family.
yeah,
Everybody's
you don't have to apologize. It's
Yeah, but
family.
not-
This is what family is.
Everybody else is just competing for seconds, right?
Absolutely
such a
sorry.
gap.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. I know.
There's some cool people in the space. I have a
Absolutely.
lot of really
No, there's
lovely
a
colleagues.
really-
or like
really-
peer, like
I know.
competitor
There's
colleagues. whatever. We're
there
all
was this
friends.
one sweet guy. I won't name him just in case because I don't want to like out the company I'm going to talk about. But he was just like, what can I do to get more product in your store? Like, is there anything I can do better? And I'm like, dude, you're awesome. Like, he's a great guy. And I'm like, it's just you just happen to work for a company that doesn't have the best products. But he's like, he really thought it was about him, and I was like, no, dude, like you're great. There's nothing you can do. It's just the way it is. But
The way the
Hopefully-
cookie crumbles.
And
sweetheart.
where is he working now? Same place as far as
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Too bad.
That's okay. Eventually, yeah.
What is the job market like out there? I feel like you would
Do you
have
love
your
it?
pick,
Like,
and
yeah, tell
you're
us,
talking
like-
about possibly getting promoted. So that's fantastic.
It must be
So
picking
exciting.
back up for more people too, I think, because now we're like
Definitely.
COVID's kind
Definitely.
of,
I know that
less
there's
serious.
a lot of there is employment in the industry at like all the levels. I mostly see a lot of job openings in the facilities for cultivation and support in the
That's
cultivation
cool.
facilities, which is
Right.
super cool.
I'm excited.
Obviously, I mean, there's a bunch of stores, at least in Vancouver area, that are hiring for bud tenders and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then there's definitely some like rep positions kicking around. There are quite a lot of. Do you you interact with, of course, LP reps like myself,
Yeah.
and like agency reps as well, right? You interact with both. Like there's the sales agencies, of course, that represent like multiple LPs and that kind of thing. too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. To
okay.
me, that would be they'd be the same thing.
Same. There's no difference.
I wouldn't
know.
notice
I guess
the
not.
difference.
Yeah, you don't
No, we
really.
wouldn't
I
know.
wouldn't
It's so
notice the
interesting.
difference.
That
I mean, most of the
yeah.
companies have an umbrella of
right.
other companies, so I
Fair
just
enough.
assume it's
It's just interesting because, like, for example, like Decibel has general admission and Quest. Those are ours. Like they're like
Right.
our brands in house. And then there's some agencies that like you'll have a rep come in, but they're like talking about multiple companies, not only multiple brands,
Right.
but like different companies that make
Yeah,
those
I guess
brands.
I just
You don't really. It
I
doesn't
don't
make
really
a difference
think
for you.
We go
about
over our
that to
heads.
myself.
Doesn't make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, there is work.
Yeah.
I find that especially like every province is so different. BC loves their cannabis people, right? The people who are like
Yeah.
in with the culture,
Yeah.
not necessarily like the suit and tie salespeople, the former alcohol or like pharmaceutical reps, which like I have some lovely colleagues who are that's their background as well. But like it's interesting to see that BC like the cannabis people are really appreciated as reps. And then on the flip side in Ontario, a lot of people that I know are really good reps because they know the business properly and they can talk about, your numbers and your margin and that kind of thing. I can have those conversations too.
Yeah.
But I find like most retailers that I interact with really appreciate like if you're cool to like smoke with.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, we want to
Yeah.
be. Yeah, it's much more personable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just want to have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Do you think that the noise is coming through? I don't know if it, like.
Yeah, there's
this
been a
is,
like construction or
maybe,
something.
yeah.
Well,
they just-
they tore down that building, and
Yeah.
I think they're getting rid of the debris.
That's
So
what it
if,
is.
That's
if
where all
that
the
is being
vibrations
picked up,
coming
then
I feel like
we
Squamish is
apologize.
always like there's. I feel like there's
Yeah,
always
there's
construction
a lot of
here.
development here.
There's big
Yes,
development. Is this
it's
one of the
been-
fastest growing cities? In,
It has been. I'm not sure what
I
the
don't
last
know.
census
Mayor,
it's
said,
gotten
but-
expensive.
Mayor Karen, is
Well, it's
it?
gotten expensive everywhere, but
it's gotten gnarly
It's
expensive.
a little
everywhere.
bit much.
Like, danger expensive.
Let's start building some more infrastructure and working on the bus routes and the water instead of just developing. And what about like some more things for us to do here? Because if
What
you
kind
want-
of what stuff do you want to do?
bowling?
Do you not have a? You don't have a.
There's no bowling.
that
You don't have a
building that,
bowling
that
alley?
they tore down, that was a bowling alley.
But
many
years ago.
It hasn't been
Yes.
operating for a little while.
No,
it's a
no.
child
There's
place.
literally nothing. There's
I'm
no.
so sorry. Bowling is the
It's
best.
the most fun.
You don't have a bowling alley.
No,
in
there's
town.
no escape
You've got a
rooms. There's no
handful of
axe
breweries.
throwing.
It's not our local government that builds bowling alleys and things like that.
No, I know, but
Wouldn't
they need
it's
to.
it's local small businesses that decide to
That's right.
buy
But
buildings.
they're,
and
what
build,
what I'm
build
saying is instead of their
bowleramas.
focus just being on developing all of these like condos, so they get, line their
That would
pockets
be a
more,
cool business.
Maybe focus on the busing for all of these new people that are coming in, and the water infrastructure and that kind of stuff, and then hopefully
more important.
bowling and stuff will come too.
I feel bad
But they
for now
can help
being such a bowling
different
proponent.
program. But I don't know. Bowling was just what came up in
Yeah,
my
of
head.
course.
I don't know.
Imagine a bowling alley where you can consume cannabis.
Right? At least, or
Imagine
drinks,
anywhere that you
vaping. That's coming too eventually.
Yeah, I guess,
they're talking about how to figure that out. I imagine it's going to be drinks and edibles or vaping of some sort, but
Or those
To-
three.
You can already
Yes.
vape
No,
anywhere.
no,
I don't know
no,
what you're
not where
talking
you're-
about.
but like openly.
Smoking.
But yeah, no smoking. I
Have you
don't
seen
imagine
that one
they're
meme
gonna-
that was like back in the day? I used to like hide in the alley to smoke a joint. Now I'm like, I'm in the back of Target. I'll hit this vape pen. Whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we're living in a different time, so that's what I try and focus on. How far we've come. I know we still have far to go, but we're doing it.
One vape at a time.
One vape at a time.
One
One
vape.
dab at a
One
time.
dab.
One toke at a
One
time.
dab.
Start low, go slow.
One joint at a time.
They did have to
things.
start like especially like rigid and regulated,
Yeah.
and then they can open it up.
Yeah.
You can't.
And it's
you can't
time
I don't know
now.
if they
Opposite.
had to.
Oh, right.
You know what? I
However,
think
we
they
will,
did
You know.
pretty darn good at coming up with a federal program. They did their best, but
That
now it's
was-
time to update.
Evolve.
Yeah,
Of
now
course.
it's time to
We've learned-
hear us
That's
out. But
where
I
we
know that
are, right?
Acres is in that works, and the fact that but they've already done a lot of stuff to move it forward.
Yeah,
so.
because the act had been scheduled for an update, and of
So
course,
it's in the
Acres
works.
supplies a lot of.
And imagine how
Data.
fast delivery happened in BC. So I mean, sometimes things might just happen really quick before all of a sudden
Completely.
things are gonna happen.
Yeah, we didn't get very much notice.
No.
For,
Was it, like,
delivery,
couple
a
weeks?
month?
It was very
It
short,
wasn't.
right?
It, yeah, it was
And
And
not.
then you were like, all right, let's figure this out
Yeah.
very
July
quickly.
15th, and it's like, get
Okay.
a car.
Yeah.
You know, everything.
All of
You went to,
Let's
you
figure
went to
out
buy a
every-
car.
You have to.
Oh, yes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
of
no-
course
no
you weren't
car
allowed just using your
drivers.
own. Right, of course it had to be like store-owned
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah.
It's
That's
another way
wild.
to really
Yeah.
make it difficult for
Yeah.
Of course.
independent.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
But hey,
Yeah.
things are moving forward.
I just thought of something.
What?
I'm not going to let you off the hook.
What'd
I
I
need
do?
to hear this tea poem.
Oh shit!
Okay, that's a good way to
Okay.
end it.
I figured
Here
that
we
was a
go.
good way to end
Okay.
it, right?
Do you have a pen? I just want to make sure I don't like butcher it because I need to make sure I write it down.
Is it orange pico specifically, or just
No,
about
it,
tea
I
in
just
general?
I just only like
That's
She
your
didn't even know there was
preferred-
any other.
I like
kind
to
of
me
tea
that is tea.
until last month.
Yeah, orange pico is the what is tea. That's
That's
the only
right.
kind of tea there is.
Well, what kind of tea? And she'd be like, "What do you mean?"
Like what? Tea is orange pico. Yeah,
She's
that's
very.
like, what do you mean?
She's very isolated.
Are you a tea drinker? More
Oh
coffee?
yeah, definitely.
Do you drink coffee? Either
Yeah,
of you?
yeah.
Very,
Oh, she-
very
she
rarely.
doesn't,
Rarely,
but-
rarely,
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 rarely?
rarely, rarely. But I would try the Boaz coffee cup for
I'm
for sure.
dreaming about an espresso.
It's gonna
What
happen.
can I tell you?
Yeah, you want one of
Aaron's
those?
sister went back to Ontario, but is coming back, so we're trying to get her to bring back
There you
some,
Bring back a little care package.
hot.
which is completely
Okay.
legal.
Yeah,
Write it out.
up
I'm
to
trying,
30
okay.
gram
Yeah.
equivalency. Put
And
in
it
the
may
mail.
or may not B, because I have to pee very badly.
Okay, where's... I want to make sure I do it. I know I have to pee too, but I want to make sure I don't butcher it. Now I'm on the spot.
I kind of expected you to just rip, like, you don't know it off the top of your head. You're
I
writing
do,
it
but
down.
like when I'm on the spot, I get fucked
okay.
up.
You want to do it
and like
properly.
this is really important to me.
Of course,
like,
I appreciate that.
The fact
yeah.
that I'm sharing this at all is,
Of course.
you know, like people who don't deserve to hear this are gonna hear this.
That's really
So,
sweet.
Yeah.
How generous of you.
That's right.
Only for you.
Thanks for letting me put you on the spot like this. This is.
Literally only for you.
Thank you. That's really. I feel you. I believe it.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
am I getting blamed for all her psychos?
Absolutely.
The mother always
Okay.
does.
Right?
Of course. A Cup of Tea. A poem by Linley.
Age.
Age 6, grade 1.
6. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
so she was cute at that time.
I was, absolutely.
You say cuter?
No, she
I was cute at all.
that time.
Like, at all.
Or you said she was cuter at that time. I was like, that's not.
You're just in time for my tea poem.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
forget. I was like, I'm not gonna.
listening.
I'm not gonna.
Okay. A cup of tea. It makes you good and happy. And good and not selfish. And playing basketball. But what is good? Exercise and skipping and swinging on swings.
Oh, it's. That's
But,
beautiful.
Like, how philosophical was I at 6? But what is good?
But what is good? Like, what does that even mean?
What is good?
Oh, depends on the definition of good. Depends on what your definition of is. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
I
6
have it-
years old.
Yeah, I have it laminated on my fridge.
Amazing.
Yeah.
On your fridge or
Well, both.
your roommate's fridge?
Yeah, exactly. Same.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that you
I
wrote
know.
that when you were a kid.
And it's
And I like that
literally
you just
like
remembered it to write it.
Yeah,
write it
like
back
I
down.
needed to make sure, but I can kind of like see it almost. I can see it on the fridge.
How do you feel now, having shared that like publicly to the
I
ethos?
feel good. It feels good.
Yeah?
I don't know. I just recently shared it with a couple of my dance teachers, and then one of them lost her poor card and didn't even get to read it, and then the other, I think she read it, but she hasn't let me know yet. So, bitch, if you're watching this, like.
We need
That was,
feedback.
That was
on what you saw.
special. I was vulnerable
From
with
the
you,
heart.
and I haven't even heard a thank you from the card. Okay, so.
Oh,
Anyways,
phew,
yeah.
that was close.
I feel
It was
the pain.
special. It was
Are we?
special.
That was-
Oh,
sorry.
Are we over? Did you?
We-
stop?
I guess we're over
We're
now.
pretty much over. We've finished our questions, unfortunately, Mom. I know
Okay.
this is always a really sad moment.
That was close. I'm not gonna lie.
What? You had to pee?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was close to what?
This has never happened
Peeing my
before.
pants. Like my goal each morning is try not to pee your pants more than once.
If you only pee your pants once in a
Cheers
day, it's
to
considered.
that.
That's right. It's like, oh yeah,
Well
check
done.
mark on the calendar, young lady.
Only
Damn it.
once a
I
day.
peed twice today.
I can't mark it off as a goal achieved.
Thanks for I feel like you. I don't know. No, I got vulnerable earlier. You shared your poem. You talked about your.
Peeing my
We've
Your
pants.
all
issues.
been vulnerable in our own ways.
I love
So,
that. I think that
cheers
that's
to
important.
vulnerability. Cheers
The,
to you.
L'chaim,
Okay, we better.
since
yes.
we're all somewhat Jewish, L'chaim.
1%, baby.
L'chaim, my friends. A pleasure and great pronunciation as well.
Very good. Yay.